I mean, sometimes you can get away with it, but I guess in this case it's very obvious that Herpa is quite late to the party. But did they at least spend the time wisely and create a nice model? Well, thanks to the great prices of the FMB shop, we can find out right after the drop. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A320-200 of ITA Airways. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the ITA Airways branding. Then on the back side of the box we can see this is a Wings Club model, so hopefully loads of additional detailing, and we can see it is a limited edition. The box design itself, I mean, we don't really need to talk about. It's that bad. And before we get any further into today's review, it is worth mentioning that this aircraft model does come with a stand. And here she is, the Airbus A320-200 in the born in 2021 livery of ITA Airways. This is the very first ITA Airways model in scale 500 ever made by any manufacturer. But has Herpa done a good job with it? Well, I mean, it is a rather wide aircraft, so we need loads of details, otherwise it will just be a boring aircraft model, and the best way to find out if Herpa has done well or bad is simply by taking a closer look at it. So as always, we start our tour around the aircraft model with a look at the tail section. Here, on the vertical stabilizer, we do find, well, nothing, except for at the top. Here, it does look like just a black dot, but believe me, if you look very closely in real life, you will see those are the last two letters of the registration code. Luckily, we then find a bit more printed detailing on the horizontal stabilizer, and the full registration code of the aircraft we then find on the fuselage. Towards the very tail of the aircraft, we then also have a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft, we then also find a bit of detailing, for example, some lovely prints at the front cabin door. Or that it, for example, says operated by ITA. The main feature, of course, is, however, that it says born in 2021, which very unsurprisingly is the birth year of ITA Airways, when the airline was formed out of the remains of Alitalia. We do then also find some static ports and, what I very much like, also some petro tubes, although in my opinion they do sit a little bit low on the fuselage. Then of course we also have a bit more detailing around the cockpit section with the cockpit windows, the window wipers, and above the cockpit windows the last two letters of the registration code. Also on the other side we do have a petro tube printed on. The engine nacelles have been kept in all white, just as most of the fuselage, but very cleverly incorporate the Italian tricolor. And then of course we also have the silver leading edge, as well as some safety relevant markings printed on. Also, the physical detailing of the engines is convincing me, because I think this looks rather nicely detailed. And then on the fuselage, just above the wings, we find the emergency exits have been printed on. And that leads us straight to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at. Starting off with the top side, where we can see the different flaps, slats and spoilers have been carved out very nicely. We do also have the marking as to where to walk on the wing and the markings for the emergency exit. The underside of the wings offers us some more nice physical detailing, and we also find the full registration code of the aircraft once again. Of course, these wings also have the typical wingtip fences of Airbus, and Herpa is doing a great job with those as well. The landing gear on this aircraft model is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all the Airbus A320 family aircraft models they are making in scale 500. A good thing for the main landing gear, which looks pretty awesome. But the front landing gear is unfortunately massively oversized, and as always we are missing printed details. On the belly of the aircraft we then do find a hole in the fuselage, but as we saw, this aircraft model does come with a stand. Still, I think it is a silly thing to do, because honestly speaking, who really uses those stands? Not very many. But I mean, it doesn't destroy any printed details, so I guess that's a thing. And then last but certainly not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here at the back of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A320-200 in the born in 2021 ITA Airways special livery from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? I mean, honestly speaking, I'm quite indecisive with this aircraft model. Some days I kind of like the livery, sometimes I find it extremely boring. One thing is for sure, it is a very wide livery, and that means we definitely need a lot of details to make the aircraft model exciting. And sure, Herpa has added a few details here. I mean, the only thing I can really see here justifying it being a club model are the petro tubes and the few details in the cabin doors. But honestly speaking, I don't think that is enough to really justify it being a club model. So one thing is for sure, this model is not worth its full price because you're definitely not getting your money's worth. But if we take Herpa's ridiculous pricing aside and just look at the model itself, then sure, I mean, it is kind of alright. I mean, it has an okay amount of detailing. The execution of the print is alright. The physical detailing is, except for the massively oversized front landing gear, also alright. So sure, I mean, we have seen much worse models, so I guess that's a positive. But as I'm sure you can hear, it is also just a model where I'm struggling to really get that excited. Because for me, there's just something special missing. And with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? With that, thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.